Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the Batman trailer, The Bat and the Cat. This movie with every new trailer just looks better and better, and wetter and wetter. I'm referring to the flooding in Gotham City and everywhere else. So much detail packed in this trailer, so let's break it down frame by frame for all the clues you missed. Let's get started.
Bruce Wayne.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be bothering you here, but your people keep telling me you're unavailable.
So the trailer opens on the Batmobile. Blue flame bursts from the exposed engine, but also burps out from the hood and the undercarriage, like this whole car is about to explode, a fiery reflection of this Robert Pattinson Batman himself, a seething pressure cooker of vengeance. Then Bruce Wayne is approached by Bella Real, the runner-up in the mayoral contest against Don Mitchell Jr., whose funeral they're now attending. She's shaming this one percenter for discontinuing the Wayne family legacy of philanthropy, but since this movie seems to be exposing the Wayne's history of corruption with Gotham's institutions, those financial divestments may actually be in the city's best interest. The road signs are all locations from the DC universe: East Gotham Docks and Robinson Bridge, with an exit for Robinson Island. The Gotham Docks are freight docks used by organized crime in the games. Robinson Park is a poor neighborhood in Gotham City where Selina Kyle lived with her companion Holly Robinson during the No Man's Land storyline. Tri-Corner Yards refers to the Tri-Corner, a triangle-shaped island on the south side of Gotham, connected by 3 bridges where the GCPD is actually located in No Man's Land. Hinkley River could refer to South Hinkley, a downtown borough in the Gotham Knight anthology film, and a location in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Rises. Let's move on.
You know, you really could be doing more for this city. Your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything.
Bruce parks in front of the church for Don Mitchell's funeral, and in the background, on that statue, you can see protesters with signs. Later in the trailer, we actually see these signs more clearly. One reading, "Lies, lies, lies," another with the Riddler logo. So apparently, rumors about the mayor's murder as a political assassination by the Riddler have now spread to the broader public, making the Riddler a sympathetic folk hero to people who might have hated the mayor and decades of policies against the lower classes of the city. Real mentions Bruce's family as we see a close-up of the Wayne W crest on Bruce's cufflink, which has this curved line cutting through it. An interesting parallel to many of the alpha symbols in the Riddler's cipher code. You'll notice many of which add his curved question mark to straight lines and dots. In the international trailer, Edward Nash's photo wall included a photo of him as an orphan choir boy seated right beside the Wayne family, which I interpreted as a clue pointing to his personal history with this family, maybe even a biological lineage to Bruce's parents. And now Nashton may have even derived his own twisted heraldry from that of the Waynes. The editing of this section rips so hard. The way Matt Reeves anchors the camera on the bumper of the Batmobile as it hydroplanes and then skids to a stop to perfectly frame Cobblepot's car flipping. Matt Reeves actually used a similar camera movement and similar color tone in his amazing swivel shot on the tank in 2014's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And then as we cut to black, we hear this sound effect. Like it's a snap or the flip of a switch that turned off the lights here. Almost like the bat signal shutting off now that Batman's mission is complete. On to the next clip.
The Riddler is asking for you.
The killer left this for the Batman. Why is he writing to you?
You came. I've been trying to reach you.
So Batman observes the Riddler's basement. I assume this is Edward Nashton's home because behind Batman in the GCPD cop are mannequins strapped up with duct tape and explosive collars like the one we see on District Attorney Gil Colson, as well as signs that Ashton has previously wallpapered everywhere, a Don Mitchell campaign poster with the eyes scratched out, and to the left, an older Thomas Wayne for mayor poster with murderer written over mayor, Thomas Wayne murderer. As I deduced from that international trailer, this Riddler seems obsessed with exposing the Wayne family roles in the corruption of the city and Thomas Wayne's false promises of the renewal of Gotham's orphanage system and renewal of the city infrastructure that present-day Mayor Mitchell continued to turn a blind eye to. But we also have to wonder if Nashton might have wanted Batman and the GCPD to find his workshop like this. This is assuming that his very arrest was all part of his carefully laid out plan, much like John Doe in Seven, which was a huge inspiration on this film. You'll notice on the floor is etched a grid of lines and the words "a real change," or should I say a real change, because this is the slogan of Bella Real's mayoral campaign. almost like they named her character Real with this spelling to set up a pun. Now the lines look very much like a street map of the city of Gotham, and these letters look like they were written over the streets that were erased. Around the edge of the map are twinkling orange lights, perhaps the locations of where Riddler planted his bombs along the city's seawall. Boom, 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 boom. Now elsewhere in the room, there's a series of binders labeled DCEDDEE, which could be part of Nashton's cipher organization system, maybe music notes like the piano lock that the Nolan Batman movies used to enter the Batcave. I don't know, I tried to play these on my keyboard and nothing happened. I don't know. Also beside those are some animal cages, maybe for the rats that went into the torture device that we saw in the international trailer, reminding us of George Orwell's 1984 Room 101, I think was used on Mayor Mitchell, which is why his face was taped up. Rats to kill the rat. In addition to a Real change pointing to the Riddler's next target, an event hosted by city leader Bella Real, as we see later in the trailer, this may also point to the Riddler's ultimate plan to bring about real change to the city's infrastructure by flooding its streets by bombing the seawall. Remember, seawall construction was cited on that newspaper in the very first teaser. And by doing this, he would erase the blocks that prior city leaders constructed that erased the neighborhoods that were there before. A kind of biblical flood that wipes the grime of the corruption clean. Then we see Batman accepting a FaceTime on a phone taped to the hand of Gil Coulson, which shows this folding chair in Nashton's home studio with his Riddler logo on the black sheet, ISIS style. We actually saw his studio in the international trailer, and Nashton creepily leans into frame with his thick-rimmed glasses barely visible. Then Bruce receives a gift wrapped in green paper with a black ribbon, a card marked for the Batman. Bit interesting, because the past clues were addressed to the Batman, but this one must be a gift for him. The envelope is also made in an interesting texture, almost like a piece of cloth or canvas. This envelope itself may open up and be a piece of something, like a painting or a dress. Martha's dress! Moving on.
Riddler's latest. It's all about the Waynes. If we don't stand up, no one will.
You got a lot of cats.
I have a thing about strays. The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring.
Ah yes, the bat and the cat get intimate. And by intimate, I mean the woman's cats have taken a liking to you, which I define as second base. Nice. We once again see Bruce in that overhead shot with evidence laid out around him, including the words, "The sins of my father, renewal is a lie." Nearby, that table has a W crest. And now, in the from below shot, this truly does look like the Wayne family mausoleum. And as Selina Kyle flirts with Batman, it looks like she is lapping some milk. Naturally. And we see their initial confrontation in that crime scene of Mitchell's penthouse, where in the previous trailer we saw Selina trying to steal something from the safe. Selina sweeps Batman's leg, but in the same motion kicks up at him right as he would be less stable from evading that sweep. Nice move. Apparently this will lead to these two teaming up to investigate this mystery as we see them riding side by side into this cemetery location. On to the next clip.
New friend of yours?
I'm not so sure.
I'm just here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. You're part of this too.
So as Alfred asks about Selina, behind him on the screen is a saucy photo of her as she wears that wig that we've seen her wearing in other shots. This could be some photography taken as blackmail against the mayor that Selina was now trying to retrieve from that safe. And you'll notice further in the corner of the Batcave is an elevator. It's a turn-of-the-century exposed cage design showing how they get in and out of this subway tunnel facility, the Wayne Terminus, from a more accessible pedestrian entrance. And notice how it has the same W logo as we saw on the altar table in the Wayne family mausoleum. And thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare can help you make 2022 a year of new learning, growth, and connection through creativity. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Invest in yourself and your personal growth. Skillshare offers classes designed for real life. Learn and grow with short classes that fit any schedule. Each class is a combination of video lessons and a class project. It's ad-free and has new premium classes launching weekly, so there's always something new to discover. The entire catalog is now available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. They have classes and topics new Rockstars fans will enjoy, like animation, film, and music. One of their classes that looks cool is Find Your Style, 5 exercises to unlock your creative identity by Andy J. Pizza. Make some cool art in 2022. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Then a gunman in a Riddler-style military mask and coat peers down at us. This may seem like the Riddler, but we actually see that later in the trailer there are several of these copycats in Riddler's gang who all appear to be preparing to attack Bella Real's event before Batman and Selina are able to stop them. Then a shot of Batman using a UV light to uncover one of the Riddler's markings, and then this shot of the Times Square equivalent of Gotham City. I love this, all the signs. The tallest building is the Gotham Empire building. There's a Holiday Inn Gotham, a Bank of Gotham, the building of the Gotham Tribune, that's the city's newspaper, and then at the bottom, GC1 News. You'll also notice a few screens showing a PSA, addiction to drops is on the rise. With a number of red blood drops with little faces, it seems like a new kind of drug, maybe a dangerous consumer product that is plaguing the city. And then as Batman stands beside the bat signal, behind him in the skyline, you can see the telecom tower for WGOT. That's an independent TV station in the city of Gotham. Moving on.
Stay still!
How am I a part of this?
Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. Bruce Wayne.
All these years, you lied to me, Alfred.
Okay, so more shots of Nashton surrendering to the GCPD in that diner, which again is most likely part of his plan. And you can see Batman watching from the outside, yellow light reflecting off his chest to make his two-piece detachable chest weapon look more like his classic bat emblem with the yellow and the black. And then Batman leads Gordon towards this set of doors where Nashton has painted the words in green, where it all began. In set photos, you can actually see doors of this location that are marked with a G and an O symbol, maybe for Gotham Orphanage. This could actually be the place where Nashton was abused thanks to Thomas Wayne's neglect. Above the doors looks like the name Thornham, and I love how the door was left ajar after the green words were painted. So someone entered this space after the Riddler left it this way, or the Riddler just left it ajar as a way to lure him in. Again, all of these clues that he gives them are designed to be found, presents meant to be unwrapped. I assume this location is going to have all the significance with Thomas Wayne's history of corruption with the city, and I still think it's possible that this corruption could be part of a Court of Owls conspiracy that ended up using Bruce Wayne as a Talon-style executioner to help carry out the wishes of that corrupt elite of the city. And it looks like Bruce will confront Alfred about this history. I mean, Alfred might have been part of that cover-up. Moving on.
We all have our scars, Bruce.
You're still away.
He's involved in this?
No, he's not involved.
How do you know? He's a vigilante!
Okay, more footage of Batman beating down on all those face paint gang members on the elevated train platform. The word Halloween on the wall behind them. But again, the weirdest thing about the scene to me is that it is raining under the roof cover of this platform. So this is either just a super poorly constructed roof in the city slums left to disrepair, or instead of rain, this could be flooding from the Riddler's destruction of the city, or maybe even some controlled flooding by the city leaders who allowed these undesired neighborhoods of this overall sinking city to get swallowed by the river. And this is just something they have to deal with all the time. Now, then there's this interesting shot of Bruce unmasking his cowl in the Batcave in front of this news screen. We actually saw this same shot at the end of the August 2020 teaser, but now that GC1 screen shows a wide shot of Gotham City instead of a person's face, as it originally was in the first teaser. Maybe they changed it to avoid a spoiler. This could be an in memoriam of someone who gets killed off. Then Commissioner Pete Savage chews out Gordon over Batman showing up in the Riddler's clue in the Mayor Mitchell crime scene. You can see he's holding up that curved owl card there. Eventually, the cops will turn on Batman, and we see him escaping the cops by firing his grappling gun up the stairwell. And if you look closely, you can see that gun ejecting up from his sleeve up into his palm. So cool. Next clip.
Who are you under there? What are you hiding?
Selina, don't throw your life away.
Don't worry, honey. I got 9 of them.
Okay, more Selina Kyle action this section. I like this shot of her hand on Batman's cowl, showing how sharp her nails are. It's a sensual shot, but the nail on her thumb could totally claw his eye out.
Oh, mother fucking!
And then we see a new overhead shot of the SUV driven by DA Coulson with Riddler's bomb collar on him. You can see Bruce darting down that aisle to intercept that boy, who I assume will be Mitchell's son, another son of a dead mayor, the way Bruce was. But from this angle, you can see that the SUV weirdly swerves. First to the left, mowing down several rows of chairs, but then turns right toward the steps. Even with the bomb collar, I just wonder how much Coulson would willingly run over a bunch of people in a church. Nashton may have actually rigged up this car to pilot it remotely, or designed the car in a way that it just chaotically mowed through this church and Coulson only had so much control over it. And I love this. As it plows up the steps into a column, you can see Nashton standing creepily on the balcony watching them. This is actually a wider shot of another shot from the very first August 2020 teaser, but even in that angle, you could see Nashton standing motionless among the other people fleeing from that balcony. Creepy. Moving on.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind.
But when it's denied, it's through violence you may find.
Okay, we hear Nashton say his next riddle. It can be cruel, poetic, or blind, but when denied, it's violence you may find. The answer, of course, being justice. But I like how the editing here syncs Coulson on justice being cruel, Bruce on justice being poetic, and Nashton on justice being blind.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind.
As a district attorney, Coulson used justice cruelly in Nashton's eyes. Bruce Wayne suffers from a kind of poetic justice as a vigilante serving a corrupt city. And Nashton's blind eye, as we see in his glasses and the close-up of his cell phone, is really, if you think about it, the fairest dispenser of justice. Justice is supposed to be blind, to treat each defendant equally under the eyes of the law. So Nashton, in his eyes, is what justice should be, blind. And we see the terrifying stakes of the Riddler's plot, detonating explosives in vans parked beside the Gotham seawall with several simultaneous hits that causes this seawall to collapse in river water to flood the city streets, making the city a literal cesspool that he described it as, and leading to the shots we've seen of Batman leading a group of people through floodwaters and Batman, another teaser, covered in mud. Next clip.
Come on, Vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
Yeah, interesting how Selena calls him Vengeance, recalling how he described himself in the first teaser. And as Selena disguises herself in a nightclub, so does Bruce, not as Batman, but wearing a hoodie with white and black face paint, looking a lot like that face paint gang that he beats up on the train platform. Just a little way of showing how he is learning from the people that he beats up. On to the final clip. Okay, so the Riddler gang attacks an event hosted by Bella Real with sniper rifles on that scaffolding, maybe intended to assassinate Real herself. But Batman crashes in from the ceiling and he and Selena take them all down. Notice how Batman hits them with a gun using the stock as a club, not shooting them. And then we get the title, which leads to the release date and a phrase written in the Riddler's cipher at the bottom of the screen. Let's do it, baby. So if you use the substitution code that I derived for He Lies Still, the clue in the very first teaser, this translates to you are El Rata Alada, translating to you are the winged rat. So this ain't just the Bat and the Cat trailer, it's the Bat, the Cat, and the Rat. As we saw with the Riddler's rat torture device, he likens Batman as a dishonest extension of the disease in the rot of the city, a rat with wings. Actually, Warner Brothers launched a whole promo website, rataalada.com, where you can answer riddles to unlock a GCPD sketch of the Batman. Another prompt reveals a cipher that translates to stay, and then across vigilant, as we should stay vigilant for more clues as we look ahead to this film in March. I'm so excited for it. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, Batman.